So Chris is about to get married, and there's this tradition where he has to come and kiss a moose. Kiss the moose. Kiss the moose. Kiss the moose.
Yeah. Me not care what them say, yeah. Work hard, hustle every day, yeah. Never forget to pray, yeah. Yo, me not got time to play, yeah. And no days off. Hustle hard, homie, no days off. Yeah, no days off. On this journey to greatness, there's no days off.
What do you think it takes to be a successful entrepreneur?
You know, to be honest, Chris, man, there's so many variables, so many factors that contribute to success in entrepreneurship, but I think it comes down to two main categories, you know, skill set and the mindset. You know, everything kind of fits into those two categories. You know, another thing that I would have noticed though is that a lot of entrepreneurs, you know, they think that because they start a business, that automatically makes them entrepreneurial.
Right.
You know, and that's not the case. The reality is that you could have a business but not be entrepreneurial. And on the other hand, you could be entrepreneurial and not have a business.
Right.
You know, and it takes a lot of, you know, understanding, and it takes just figuring out that if you're self-aware, then you could then begin to go after what it is that you want in a manner that allows you to get success.
Gotcha.
Failure is definitely part of the process. You know, I mean, people think that there's something wrong with failure, but the truth is that failure is important. You know, you get it wrong and then you fix it. You get it wrong and then you fix it. And at the end of the day, that is what strengthens you as an entrepreneur. If you started a business or you've been in business for a long time but you have never failed, I'd be very wary of you.
Right.
I would be very wary of you because, you know, it's the failure that causes you to get stronger.
Correct.
You know, all the mistakes that you would have made, the things that you could have done better, you learn from them, and then it strengthens you as an entrepreneur. So what happens is that many people give up after their first failure, not knowing that they were destined to win on their second or third try. And that's huge, you know, for me. And it's crazy. I would have experienced so many failures, bro, but I made a decision to keep moving forward. And after that, I would have realized that things begin to explode for me, man. I think I was doing entrepreneurial stuff before I was conscious of me being an entrepreneur, right? So then when I realized that, yo, this thing is really working for me, you know, this thing is a passion for me. I love to sell, I love to meet people, I love to make a profit in business. You know, I think that that's when I made a decision that, you know, this is me. But when I was much younger, selling candy in school, it wasn't like, this is something that you're gonna do for your whole life, you know what I mean? It was just like, yo, I'm trying to make money to buy some sneakers and I can sell some stuff, and I did it well, you know, but at that point in time, it wasn't like, this is who I am, you know, this is what I'm gonna do. I mean, the actions and the activity came natural to me, but at the end of the day, it wasn't like, this is who I am, you know. I didn't feel that way until I got a lot older. For me, a lot of my desire to win as an entrepreneur came from watching my family really just struggle and not be able to, you know, do what they want, you know, go where they wanted to go, you know, eat what they wanted. Those basic things for me meant a lot to me. And I understood that becoming an entrepreneur gives you freedom, it gives you leverage, and I made that decision, you know. And watching my mother struggle to, you know, put food on the table, to provide for me and my siblings, all of that was part of the cooking up process for me to become the entrepreneur that I am today. And you know, this is the reason at the very core why I go so hard as an entrepreneur, bro, to end poverty in my family's life. This is the truth. To be able to say, listen, mommy, listen, daddy, this house is for you. Yeah. You know, this car is for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's far away from that, but still a lot closer to that dream than it was yesterday. You know, I would hear my mom complaining, and I would see these particular scenarios that if I wanted things to change, you know, I had to be that change. Yeah. I felt like I was responsible for a shift to take place in my family. That's the truth. I feel to this day, right now in this moment, even having this conversation, I feel like there's something special, you know what I mean? For those individuals that may be in that moment right now, make the decision and go after it 100%. You know, be all in, because it may be true. The ending of poverty or the shift in financial success in your family may be in your hands. You know, you don't know. They don't know. And the moment that you say, you know what, I can't do this, or I may not be able to get these results, you're limiting yourself with those limiting beliefs, and you may be stopping that shift from happening in your family.
If you could list the top 5 things of being an entrepreneur, what would they be for you?
1, self-awareness. You know, that's huge. You have got to have clarity concerning what it is that you want to do and where you're trying to go. Yeah. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say is, you know, passion. You know, you gotta be passionate. I've seen so many individuals who've got the skills, have got the talent, but they just aren't passionate enough. They're not hungry enough. They don't want it enough. The next thing is skill set. You know what I mean? Right. You have got these skills. You have got to, you know, be good enough. And you know, the reality is that you are already good enough. It's just that the mental beliefs that we have sometimes limits us. But you got to have the skill set. You develop the skills. Next thing is the mindset. You know, the entrepreneurial mindset is something that people take for granted as well. Your ability to think rightly, to perceive failure, to perceive success, to stay humble, you know, to celebrate the small victories. All of that is part of the entrepreneurial mindset, and people take that for granted because they don't understand the value that it brings and how it contributes to your success as an entrepreneur. And then lastly, I believe, you know, it has to do with just your network, you know, keeping people around you that have had success as well, you know, and they are on their path to getting more success. Yeah. Because, you know, you hear it all the time. This is a cliche, you know, birds of a feather flock together. You know, if you're trying to make $1 million a month, you gotta be hanging around somebody that's doing it or has done it already. Yeah. You know what I mean? That sounds far-fetched. You know, to make $1 million a month. Let's talk about something that, you know, most people can fathom. Trying to make 10 grand a month, you know, or 20 grand a month. It's so important to have people in your network that have already done that, so that you can learn from them. Success always leaves clues, you know, so you can learn from them and you can put it in your frame, your lifestyle, so that you can begin to get those results as well.
The thing about Dan Cathy is, I mean, the man is so humble, but he was sharing from a perspective of serving others and bringing the highest quality to the market. Wow. So that others can have an enjoyable experience. And so you saw his heart in the matter in regards to serving people and really, you know, raising his standard, because first of all, it's a family thing. It was passed on to him, and with that heritage, he wanted to reflect the standard that his family shares, but also in his service to people. So yeah, it was a very interesting conversation that John Maxwell had with him on that simulcast. He talked about having a schedule life and, you know, putting things in perspective in regards to not, you know, overextending yourself, but working within your means, but still challenging yourself to grow, and you know, employing other people's strengths around you, and building team, but building quality team. It's not just about quantity and having everybody just come in and work at your business, but it's about the quality and the ethos that really reflects on who you are and what you stand for.
Guys, really excited about today, man. The first day of the Synergy Conference here in Destin, Florida. You know, this conference is going to be very impactful. Can't wait to meet new people, network, see new faces, man. I got Chris here with me too from Barbados. Listen, it's going to be fire, man. So just keep it locked. Workshops, they're going to be specifically on what?
Yeah, as I said, it's about mobilization. It's about being very practical, and so we're going to have the content focused towards the marketplace outside the four walls of the church. You know, the reality of business. Who knows? You may be speaking at one.
Oh, that would be great.
So you're going to have business and you know, affecting that market with the kingdom and establishing the kingdom. And leadership, we're going to talk about leadership and so forth. I'm really hoping that in my summer break, just right after convention, I'm taking off all of August and I'll be home, and I want to finalize my book on leadership. I have an incredible person right now, giving some oversight to that, and I have to submit it.
In the airport.
Yeah, a lady named Melody Hilton, and you know, she's an awesome woman of God. If you haven't heard of Melody Hilton, you need to connect with Melody Hilton. She empowers, you know, over 800 leaders in South America, Nicaragua, and all over the United States. She travels and she speaks both within the context of the four walls of the church and outside the four walls of the church to businesses. And so I would have reached out to her, connect with her, and she really connected back with me, and you know, and we're working to see the material on leadership that God has really poured out in my heart, you know, to see it really come alive, and she's going to be an instrumental part of that process. But in everyone, there is great potential for leadership in everyone, you know. That's not a context relegated for a few. God really has opened that up for us all, and so it's us tapping into His mind and understanding how He thinks. And first of all, that means that, you know, we're going to have to just gaze into the Word of God, but you know, also open our ears to believe that He really does want to speak life over us. And when we do open our ears and open our hearts to Him in that regard, you know, because some of us, you know, we don't, and some people don't even have a Bible, but if you open your ear and your heart, and you have an open heart towards Him, you know, He'll speak that life into you. And even if He has to send somebody to you, you know, to encourage you, we just trust that He's a good God and that He's a good Father, as the Word says, and believe that He has great potential to unleash, and He wants to do it in your now. He wants to do it in your vomit. My son still went to school that morning. We just wiped it off, you know. We got to school, we told the teacher, you know, what happened with the way his pants is wet, and you know, because he told me he was still feeling good enough to go to school, and that was like pressing through your vomit, pressing through your mess. He still went in there, teacher went and got another pants and stuff like that, and he had exams that day. And sometimes that's what life is like, you know. We face different trials, but it doesn't mean that we should, you know, duck our heads in the sand because we feel disqualified from attempting, you know, great things. But we should go for it, man. Yeah, through the mess and all, go for it, knowing that God is championing us. You know, we just don't sit back and stay on the bench because, hey, you know, we don't believe we can. I thank God. I mean, one picture I have because of my history in sports is, especially basketball, is God there, you know, calling for the substitution and really saying, come, get on the floor, get on the floor. But we're there with the towel over our heads, like oftentimes players are when they're exhausted and tired with the towel over our heads on the bench, and we're not listening to him, our coach, you know, and we believing in our mind he doesn't want us back on that court. You know, we messed up, we missed too many shots, we messed up the plays, and he's there, get back on the court. You know, like, get back on the court. And we're there with the towel over our heads, you know, we kind of want to, you know, block that out. Yeah, but yeah, you have incredible potential, man. We have incredible potential, and we got to walk it out in the midst of the mess, because in the midst of the mess, there's a message that somebody needs to hear it.
to spend 1,000 hours figuring out why when I know the who? If I know the who, the why is overridden every single time.